Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are filming in my bedroom, a little bit of a different setting because I am doing a video that I feel like I've gotten a lot of questions on. So I'm gonna be talking about my diabetes. I feel like I have a lot to say and I might just get lost. We're basically gonna go into my battle with type 1 diabetes, and I don't even know if I'm gonna call this my battle with type 1 diabetes because it's not really a battle. Diabetes has completely changed my life, if anything, for the better. The reason why I'm even getting into this is because it's pretty hard to hide. I mean, many of you have seen this device that is on my arm here, and I always get questions on this. Before we get started, my name is Farida. If you don't know me or if you're new here, if you just stumbled upon this video, my name is Farida. I'm a 6-figure Amazon seller and I'm an Amazon FBA coach to over 1,700 students. All right, now please keep in mind that I am not any type of medical professional. Everything that I speak of here is just from my own experience. It's from what I know about my own diagnosis. Every person's experience is different. This is just what I went through, but I am in no means like any type of medical professional. So if you are experiencing any of the same symptoms that I talk about for myself, then please seek medical help or ask a medical professional about this. You don't need to take my experience as a full example. I first want to explain that there are two different types of diabetes. So there is type 1 and type 2. Now, type 2 usually happens if you are consuming more sugar than your body can handle. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to try to explain this in literally the simplest way possible because, again, this is not a scientific or biology video. We all have a pancreas, and the pancreas produces insulin. The insulin's job is to take the sugar from your blood and break it down and give it to your body so that your body can use that as fuel to function. Now, some people are not producing enough insulin to keep up with the amount of sugar that they consume, and that is type 2. It is the one that happens to people that are overweight or to people that are consuming a lot of sugar. Now, type 1 is a little bit different. So type 1 usually happens from birth, or like you would know that a baby has type 1 from when they're very young, or in children. It's usually not really diagnosed in older adults or even teenagers, where your pancreas is no longer working. So it's not that you're consuming too much sugar that your insulin cannot keep up with it. It's that your pancreas is not producing any insulin at all. So that is what happened to me. I am type 1, and I actually just got diagnosed with this around 1 year ago. Let's move back a little bit on how this happened, because this is really uncommon for somebody to get diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of, I believe I was 25. Growing up, I never really had a sweet tooth. I was more of a savory girl. Like, I'm the type that, I would go to a supermarket and get chips or get, I was more into the salty things than I was into sweets. So I never really assumed that this might be an issue or something that I should ever worry about, although I was consuming a lot of carbs and probably a lot of juices. And now, thinking about it, there is so much sugar in everything, basically, that I used to consume, even if it wasn't sweets. But generally, I didn't really have a sweet tooth. And if you guys have been following up, you know that we moved to Dubai around 2 years ago. A couple of months into moving to Dubai, I started to get really, really crazy sugar cravings, meaning I was consuming like maybe 3 boxes of mango juice in a day. I would just wake up and consume an entire box of mango juice. I was having a lot of chocolate. Like, chocolate was a huge thing for me. I was getting hungry all the time. And this was very odd because, again, as I said, I never had a sweet tooth as a child or growing up. At this point, I was really consuming a lot of sugar and I was craving a lot of sugar. I was also getting really thirsty. And then once we got COVID, both me and my husband, when we were in Dubai, things just started to spiral downwards. And because I had COVID, I thought, or I was linking everything that I was experiencing to COVID. And I thought that I was experiencing all of these symptoms because of the COVID that we had. So these symptoms included insane heart palpitations. I would wake up very early in the morning or sometimes even in the middle of the night just feeling my heart go like it was an insane heartbeat or heart pump that would just all of a sudden wake me up out of my sleep. And then I would continuously experience constant heart palpitations. I was drinking a lot of water. I was constantly going to the washroom every, like, not even exaggerating, maybe every 5 to 10 minutes, I had to go to the washroom. I was peeing a lot. I was feeling very, very weak, and I was also losing a lot of weight. And this is one of the main things that I wanted to touch on in this video, because I think this is so wrong what I was doing. Because I was losing weight, although I was not eating healthy, I was, as I said, consuming a lot of sugar. I was not even exercising that much, but I was losing weight. I was so happy that I was losing weight. I said I must be doing something right. I never even considered that there might be something wrong going on with my body, that this is my body giving me a sign. I was just so happy. So that is why I never got it checked, and I kept, going on living my life. I basically pushed myself until the last second, until I was basically supposed to be in a sugar coma. So I'm gonna insert some videos here or pictures of that time, and you can just tell that my body was completely depleted of any type of water weight. I just felt absolutely tired. I couldn't even, for example, vacuum or clean up the kitchen without having to sit down and take my breath for, every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes I had to sit down and take my breath because I was so exhausted. My husband, he also had COVID with me at the same time. So he was also experiencing just like a very closed chest, or he felt like something was going on with his chest and he wanted to get that checked. Keep in mind that me and my husband have two very different personalities. For me, if there is anything wrong with me, I would literally not say anything or do anything or get it checked until it is like I cannot function in my daily life. As I said, I was not even able to breathe or even able to stand up for 5 to 10 minutes straight, and I still didn't want to go get anything checked. This is my personality. It's not right, but this is how I am. I will put up with it until the very last second. My husband, on the other hand, not like that whatsoever. He likes to go to the doctor for any little thing that is wrong with him. So completely opposite personalities. So he felt like his chest was not right, like it was feeling a little bit queasy after COVID. So we said, okay, we'll go to the hospital and get some checkups done. And my husband is a pharmacist, and I thank God for this. Like, what a blessing that he studied an entire huge, literally a chapter this big on diabetes. Since he saw all of the symptoms that I had, he asked the doctor to do a glucose test for me. And he said to the doctor, I think she might be diabetic. Can you please do a glucose test for her? This is when we went to the doctor to get his chest checked up. I also got a bunch of other tests done. I got this test done that was like measures your heartbeat. I can't really remember what it was called. And then the doctor said, no, we're not going to do the glucose test. Like, why would she be diabetic? She's 25 or 24 years old. It doesn't make sense that she would be diabetic right now. She's not overweight, so she's probably not type 2. And type 1, like, she's too old to be diagnosed with type 1. My husband insisted. He said, nope, she should do it. There's something wrong, and she's experiencing all these symptoms, and she's peeing a lot, and she's drinking a lot of water, and she's losing weight. So please do the test for her. And so we did the test, and the results were going to come out the next day, but my heart results came back instantly. He was able to see it instantly, and he said that it looked a bit off. It looked like my heartbeat was not consistent, which explains the heart palpitations that I was experiencing. Fast forward to the next day, I was just feeling really tired. I was already feeling tired for a pretty long time, but at this point I was feeling really exhausted and just not so good about myself. So I told my husband to drop me off to go get my nails done, just so that I could feel a little bit better, could feel a little bit pampered. As soon as he dropped me off, the doctor called him, and he said her numbers came back really high, so I think that you should come to the emergency tomorrow. He didn't say today. He said, come tomorrow. My husband, as I said, he's a pharmacist. His dad is a surgeon, and they have a lot of friends that are doctors and surgeons. He asked him for the results, a picture of the results. He sent that picture to one of his dad's friends, and his dad's friend asked him if I was conscious, because he said with my numbers that I should be unconscious. I basically had the sugar levels of 3 people inside of me, and that caused me to go DKA, which is ketoacidosis. I'm not going to go too deep into that, to be honest, because I don't exactly know what it is, but I had a lot of ketones in my blood. This is what I know. It's very dangerous, and I was like this much away from being in a sugar coma. But I was, again, me and my personality, going to get my nails done just completely ignoring that there's something wrong with me. So yeah, my husband called me and he said, listen, like, you need to take a taxi right now, drop the nails that you're doing, take a cab right now and go to the hospital, just because he was too far away from me and he didn't want me to wait that long in the nail salon for, before I go to the hospital. So he said, can you just catch a cab and go there, go to the ER, and I'll meet you there. And I was like, no, I just want to finish getting my nails done. Like, I'm like, literally my nails were halfway done. They were just filed, and they had just put like my extensions on. Like, if your girl's watching this, you know what I'm talking about. I did not want to go to the hospital like that, but he's like, no, you need to leave right now. So I caught a cab and I went to the hospital, and they admitted me into the ICU instantly. And yeah, so this is how I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And most likely this happened because of COVID. Type 1 diabetes is caused by genes and environmental factors such as viruses that might trigger the disease. So basically what happened is, or what the doctors think happened is, nobody's really sure, but what the doctors think happened is that COVID was present in my pancreas, and so my body attacked my pancreas, and I was no longer able to produce insulin. To be honest, I don't really fully understand it. After everything that happened with me, I sat down at home and I watched an entire video of a guy explaining exactly what happened to me. If you guys want, I will link that video below. And yeah, everything to the T, exactly what was mentioned in that video is exactly what happened to my body. Now, the reason why I say this is not necessarily a battle with type 1 diabetes and it actually changed my life for the better is because now I am forced to pay attention to all the sugar that I consume. So what happens with me, since I don't produce any insulin, I need to know exactly the amount of carbs and sugars that I am consuming, because I need to prepare my body and give my body insulin from the outside to be able to break down those sugars. So it's just kind of like a balancing game right now with my body. I need to know exactly the amount of carbs and sugars in every little thing that I consume, whether it's snacks, whether it's coffee, whether it's rice, whether it's a salad and there is some sugar in the sauce that's in the salad. I need to know exactly the amount that I'm consuming, because before I eat, I need to decide how many units I'm giving myself to be able to break down the sugar that I'm going to consume. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a lot better for me to actually be aware of what is in my food. Now I am forced to make myself aware of what's in my food. We live in such a blessed time that technology is able to make me feel as comfortable as I feel with this diagnosis. Anybody that had type 1 diabetes, first of all, insulin is an entire thing on its own. Like, insulin has saved lives. It saved my life. It saved hundreds of thousands of lives of people that have diabetes. There are a lot of other struggles when it comes to being diabetic. Like, for example, you need to pull the insulin with an injection and inject yourself every time you want to consume anything. Anytime I want to have coffee, anytime I want to have a snack, I would literally have to inject myself with an injection and needle and give myself insulin. Now that I have the insulin pump that I posted on my stories, I no longer have to inject myself over 6 to 8 times a day. I can just put this pump once every 3 days. I change it once every 3 days, and I inject the insulin with a little phone device that I have. So I just put in how many carbs I'm gonna have and it gives me insulin. The same thing with this. So this is a continuous glucose monitor, which means it is constantly measuring my sugar. I just scan it with my phone and it'll tell me how my sugar is doing, if I need to take more insulin, if I need to eat more, maybe my sugar is low and I need to eat more. So all I do is just scan it with my phone like this and it tells me my sugar. So yeah, to be honest, the technology that is happening right now is such a blessing, and this is why we moved back to Canada, is because the healthcare here, first of all, I have an entire team that is taking care of me. It's such a blessing to even have access to this. When we were in Dubai, I didn't feel safe whatsoever. Not really hating on the healthcare in Dubai. I mean, I'm sure it's great, but I just didn't feel like I was taken care of. And the bill that we got from the hospital was horrendous. It's such a blessing to have free healthcare here, and free healthcare that is really good in my opinion and in my experience. So yeah, that is why we moved back. That is the monitor that I have here. I'm pretty sure I have been speaking now for 22 minutes. If you guys have any questions or if you want me to talk a little bit more about this, let me know. But this is what's going on right now with me. This is what I have. This is not something that is curable. I know I get it a lot where everyone is like, oh, hopefully this will go away at some point. It's it's staying with me. It's here. It's here to stay, and it's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with, living my life like this. I think it's a healthier lifestyle for me. It keeps me in check, and I'm more aware of what's going on with my body, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, this is here to stay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a little bit of a different video, but if you liked this more personal style, sitting down and talking about, personal things, then let me know. And I will see you next time. Bye.